Hello, 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 my Facebook family. I feel like singing that part of the Aaliyah song. I think it's a part of Dark Charles' little production. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. I think that's a hip hop phrase from another rap. If you know that hip hop phrase, go ahead and put it in the comments. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, don't I seem refreshed? Don't I seem like I've been on vacation? Don't I seem to be ready to end this year strong? If I do seem that way, it is because I am. So November has had a lot of nopes, which I guess I wouldn't understand this month, but it wasn't planned. I had planned a great 5 shows in the month of November, but how about life said, nope. You can't go away to South Carolina, North Carolina. You can't go away to Jamaica and hang out in Atlanta and do all these things like finish teaching out the semester at Emory Law School, going over capstone project with your Spelman cohort, working and continue to have court and then take off about 2 weeks worth of time. But it has been wonderful. So I need you all to come on because today is a triple threat. It is a triple threat. So come on, share and like, share and like, share and like, because I'm going to be talking to you in this last day of November about 3 things that I want the door to slam in the faces of. These 3 things are jealous friends, broken family, and personal baggage. I'm not having much patience at all for those 3 things. So that's going to be our triple threat discussion today. So join in. Please say hello. Tell me where you're coming from. Even if you see this during the replay, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So this is going to be an interesting last show. And as I have been doing at almost all the shows, at the top of the show, I've been playing a little bit of some of my favorite music. So I want to, let's see, can I do that? I want to play again from Desmond Dempsey's Not Ready album. There is a song on here that I just love so much. I think is a great time to play it as we get ready. Wait. No, it's trying to give me something else. Give me something else. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. It's trying to give me something else. So listen, there we go. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is a song that I love, and it's called Red Dress. So as we go into this last day of November, or as we call it, November, I want you to hear this song because it's beautiful. It's about temptation. So I need you to go ahead and like, click, share on your page, share with friend groups, because Hope Moore is back for our last November. What am I supposed to do? Have you ever been in my shoes? What am I supposed to do? Yeah. Have you ever been in my shoes? The things I would do, I don't know. But what I would do is you. This life is crazy, baby, and I'm so confused. And at the end of the day, what have I got to lose? I could lose everything. My joy, my peace, my drive, and my dream. Working in harmony, I could lose so much more than what you can offer. But I forget sometimes I'm tripping, I've been tossing and turning while my body's yearning. This temperature's burning, it's hot in here. I know it ain't nothing but rubbing and touching. Come on, go ahead and like. I'm waiting till a few more people come on. Yes. All right, so I'm giving you guys 10. And this is from Jez Dent's 2021 album. Y'all gotta check it. So spread the love. Share, share, share. So while everybody's getting that together, I'm going to share too. Because I'm the last one to share. We're going to get on here. Walking in the line. What am I supposed to do? You supposed to back up. Come on now. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Share, share, come on. Spread the love. I don't do what I would do. It's you. This life is crazy, baby, and it's so confused. And at the end of the day, what have I got to lose? You gotta lose everything. I can lose everything. My joy, my peace, my drive, and my dream. Working in harmony, I could lose so much more than what you can offer. But I forget sometimes I'm tripping, I've been tossing and turning while my body's yearning. This temperature's burning, it's hot, yeah. I know it ain't nothing, but we've been in touching, but the struggle's real. And it's all because of that red dress, yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Giving people time. I just can't lose. No, I want to. I just can't lose. All right, Desmond. Thank you so much, Desmond. Your music is like so easy to rock out to. He has a new song called Masterpiece Desmond. We're gonna be having him featured hopefully in December. I hope to get on his calendar. So, okay, then, are you all ready for the triple threat discussion tonight? And I'm very excited about it, even though in some ways it's a little bit off kilter to some of the things I often talk about. But since these were conversations I was hoping to have, not just with guests, but different Wednesdays, I figured, you know what? We're going to do like an all-in triple threat and dealing with the subject of things I don't play with. I'm not playing with jealous friends, broken families, or personal baggage. Do you hear me? I am not playing with jealous friends, broken families, or personal baggage. And I use the word nope in our discussion tonight for this month because nope often is something that is just clear and a quick no when it's necessary. You know, like it's like when someone asks you something and you're like, no. Or they want you to do something, you're like, no. But when you say nope and keep moving, it is clear and it's quick. And it makes it punch with the listener that you're not changing your mind. This is not something that you need to think about. It's just nope. And I love that. And then on top of that, the movie Nope came out, and I just saw the lead actor Daniel Kaluuya, is that how you say his name? He mentioned how Jordan Peele came up with the name Nope because of how Black people sometimes characterized as being afraid of things, being like making noises in their house or outside. We don't characteristically just run out. We're like, nope. Nope. It's a quick decision based on maybe trauma or just the idea that something can get you. So I love that. And I used a part of their imagery for the movie to signify the Nope in November. And I actually got to see that movie on my flight to Jamaica recently. And I was like, I love this movie. If I haven't seen this movie, see it. It's really, really, really good. It's very deep. It has a lot of Easter eggs in it. So November, not playing with jealous friends, broken families, or personal baggage. Well, here we go. Why are all these three notes? Because it holds us down from the journey of life that we're on. When you are dealing with people who are dealing with jealousy, It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Why? Because when I am, especially a person who's supposed to be my friend, when I'm dealing with someone and they're jealous of me and I discover it, it makes me want to do like a vampire cross, because I'm thinking, I've been pouring out my heart to you. If we're members of the same church, I've been ministering with you. If we work together, we've been doing this project, and all along you've been jealous of me. And I don't mean like, oh, envious in some of the slightest things, like, oh, I like her dress, I want the dress. Or I like her purse, I want the purse. Or even like, oh, I want to be married, I want to have kids. But jealousy often is rooted in the sense that they don't deserve it. You deserve it. Or there's something that a person has or does that you resent because they have it. And a lot of times it's because the person feels like they should have it. So I'm very cautious about jealous friends. And I'll talk to you a little bit before we're over about how I combat jealousy. I combat jealousy like it's taking my life away. In fact, if I can combat carbs and sugar like I combat jealousy, I will be my desired size right now. So Lord, help me my my carbs and sugar like I combat jealousy. Jealousy is so serious. And a prime example of how serious jealousy is in one of the most recent situations that really, really had me perplexed. And I want to just check and make sure that you guys can hear me, because my last show, the audio was not working and no one heard me, and I didn't even realize no one heard me. So I'm going to check this real quick and make sure people can hear me. All right. So this sad situation that many of you are familiar with really makes me think about, really makes me think about, did I take my share function off? I think I canceled my share function. Okay, well, I try to deal with that, and so I won't worry about that. I think I took my share. I wanted to share my screen, but the Shanquella Robinson situation. And if you haven't heard about it, I'm not going to get into deep details because I don't want to get anything wrong. But this young woman, I think she's, well, in her mid-20s, went to, I think, San Cabos, Mexico, some Mexican resort, and stayed at a luxury hotel or Airbnb with 6 other people. They're called the Cabo Six. One was supposed to be her best friend. Interesting enough, she was found dead. Her friends told her parents and anyone that were here that it's alcohol poisoning, but it turned out that this woman had a severed spinal cord and a broken neck. And there's video, at least 2 videos of her being assaulted by 2 of these so-called friends. And what also has come out is that this young woman, Shanquella, was prospering and doing well in her business. She was obviously gorgeous, and that very likely jealousy was a part of the whole deal against her. That she went on the trip knowing that she had people who she didn't really care for, and potentially already knew that they were jealous, because even when they were fighting, I think it was one of the men who's supposed to be her best friend was like, fight back, Shanquella, as if to say, like, get yours in. And Shanquella didn't fight back, and she ended up losing her life. Jealousy is dangerous. Can you say that? Jealousy is dangerous. Don't just take it from me. Let's look at what the word of God says in one of the examples. In the Song of Solomon, it says, for love is strong as death, jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. Jealousy is as cruel as the grave. Now, what is that telling you? I believe jealousy is dangerous and it can lead to death. In fact, there's a lot of scripture where it notes abominations, and it notes idolatry and witchcraft in the same sentence as jealousy. And jealousy can be manipulation because it comes from an ungodly prayer that you get something not also like someone has, but you get something another person has. I want that man. Remember, in the Ten Commandments, it says, "Do not covet someone's wife." That's not like, oh, I want a wife like her. It's like, I want her. I want that promotion. I want that house. I want that man. I want that woman. I want those children. And literally, in order to for you to gain some of that stuff, another person has to be erased. If not their life, surely their participation in something, whether it's a marriage or a job. But at the end of the day, jealousy is cruel as the grave. And because jealousy actually attaches itself to an evil prayer, an evil, ooh, I want that. Who is listening? Is it the Holy Spirit? No, it is evil spirits. And it acts as witchcraft. I'm telling you, a few months ago, maybe it's now over a year ago, there was something going on in my family. And I was like, I feel like the spirit of witchcraft is attacking us. And I was talking to a dear friend, Arabella Weaver, who has an amazing ministry called Rise Up, dealing with intercessors in the state of Florida. She was like, well, jealousy is manipulation, and jealousy is as of witchcraft. And so it may not be someone going around the house doing voodoo, but someone or someone's maybe dealing with jealousy and doing word curses. Like, just like jealousy is as unto the grave, and jealousy dangerous all the way out can bring death, that literally jealousy can act like witchcraft, and in that the things that people hope happens negative to you is literally like a prayer. It is literally trying to commission demons, even if they're unaware. But that's how big and terrible jealousy is. That's why I do a quick note to jealous friends. And jealous friends in particular do not need to live around you. Now, listen, I have recently once have dealt with jealousy, and truly I can only think of one other time in my adult life that I dealt with jealousy, and that was after law school. And I was like, and let me tell you how I handle jealousy, because jealousy not just is something like, oh, I wish I had that like that person, but in some ways it is thinking you should have what that person has. That often it gets warped into they don't deserve it, or I deserve it more. And it's like, what I do to combat it besides praying, I go overboard in showing congratulations and appreciation, because whatever is for me is for me. And most recently, so it's been almost 20 plus years, I dealt with the second mindful jealousy I've ever dealt with concerning a friend. And I was like, I have to cancel this. I confessed it during my prayer group. I was like, I don't like this. This particular friend was doing really, really well in her law practice. And, she was not bragging. She just sharing the things of God. And I was so dissatisfied with my own life that I just started feeling like, oh man, like, not just, oh, I want it, but like, God, I serve you. I should be making that. I should be doing that. And I was like, where did that come from? Oh, no. We're driving this spirit out, because jealousy can lead to death. Jealousy is like witchcraft. You can find yourself, when you're jealous of someone, feeling like, oh, you almost like you want something negative to happen, and God is not pleased with that. So I drive that out, because I don't want witchcraft to be named among me, because God cannot stand witches, in case you didn't know. So that's one thing that I say no. Can we agree, Facebook family? We say no to jealousy and jealous friends. I tell you, when I deal with jealous friends, and it's one thing for a friend to say, listen, chick, I'm dealing with jealousy with you and I'm trying to handle it. And they're confessing it because they want to be free of it, not to try to manipulate you so you feel all awkward around them. But I've had a few friends that we were honest about issues of jealousy that they had against me. And it affected our friendship. But I am now friends with them, and they are over that jealous moment. But it took some separation and time away, and probably life, because you can't really have my heart, and I really can't have yours if I'm not just dealing with the thought of jealousy, but I'm living in it. Because jealousy causes things like seeing your rich, successful, beautiful friend get beat up by another woman in a party that you've invited her to, or a trip that you invited her to, and instead of separating and protecting your friend, you're like, you should fight her back. That's no real friend. But that's what jealousy does. And there's jealousy in ministry, and there's jealousy in families, and it causes such craziness. So just like there shouldn't be jealousy, also let's not pit one against another. Let's not compare one against another, because it's a great way of developing jealousy, especially in family and friends group. But we say nope to it. We say nope quickly. And when we find ourselves bombarded, you need to not only take it to God, but you need to actively go against that. That's when you need to call that person and congratulate them. That's when you look for another client to refer. That's when you go in and you combat the spirit of death and manipulation and control and said, I want to bless this person. And it's amazing. You can't keep blessing a person and stay jealous. You can't operate that way in the heart of God and still stay jealous. So Marquella Robinson's family, my prayers are with them. I pray that the Mexican and the FBI governments and officers come to the bottom of this. And I feel sort of bad because people are about to go to jail, and I would not want to be in a Mexican jail. But at the same time, even if the fight happened without thought of death or killing, you don't slam people by their necks and negligently and recklessly and think, oh, well, it was an accident. Honey, no, you took somebody's life. You need to deal with it. But jealousy does that. Jealousy is powerful. And what's crazy, like when I was a kid, I had a friend that I was so admiring of. She was chocolate like me, thin, looked like a model, was very creative, danced beautifully, and I just thought she had an amazing life. And some years later, I found out that we started separating as friends because I hadn't done anything to her, but she was dealing with jealousy. And I could not believe that she was jealous of my grades. But the thing that really knocked me out was that she was jealous of my body because she was slim. And I guess there have been enough guys who said, like, oh, I wish you had more hips and stuff. And she would look at my body and be jealous. And I'm like, isn't that crazy? I'm admiring her slim physique and she's admiring my hips and curves. And that's bringing jealousy. And so, it really eventually brought an end to our friendship. That particular friendship I fought so much for because I was like, no, this is not crazy. She's one of the only really saved, godly friends I have. But that jealousy thing, it broke up a friendship. And it really, really hurt me because all that time I thought she was pushing for me, but inside she wasn't. So we got to kill that jealousy thing. And one of the things that I loved about becoming friends with Crystal Barrett and Crystal Jackson, two crystals that the Lord put in my life freshman year at Spelman College, is because they were not only accomplished, well-read, well endowed as far as brilliance, women who love God, but they would get just as excited for me as I would if something good happened, and there was no jealousy whatsoever, and I would get just as excited for them. And like even today, one has an amazing philanthropic movement, and she also works with different entrepreneurs and issues and dealing with transactional life with Africa and America. One is a pastor, along with their husband. They have 4 children. Like they're living great lives that I can look and say, ooh, okay, I want children. I want a house and a husband and us working in ministry. Or I want to be traveling all over the world, giving speeches with millionaires and billionaires and getting them to invest. But that is not what I'm called to be. Let's talk about the next point of not playing with broken families. Okay. Not playing with broken families. Now, listen, just because you have DNA or shared genetics with people does not mean that they have a right to be in your life. Okay. So I just want everyone to understand. And I was going to share, a picture, as I did in the advertisement, of Prince Harry or should I say Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle. Everyone who's into any type of pop culture knows that he and his brother Prince William and Princess Kate are on the outs with each other. And he's on the outs. Prince Harry is on the outs with his father, who is now King Charles, and Meghan Markle is on the outs with her father. And now they're parents to little Archie and little Elizabeth. Everyone seems like they're doing well individually, but we know that there's broken down relationships in this family. Why do I say nope to broken families, or the idea that family members I have or relatives or even really close friends? Because I believe my close friends are like family, like Crystal and Crystal. I think they're family. When I see some gap that's trying, or division is trying to widen itself, I want to say that although I haven't always been this way, I am now more conscious than ever to close that gap and say, nope, nope, I'm not going to let division come and seed itself here, or wrong feelings or offense to push us apart, because families are important. You know, family is often the first ministry. A husband and wife, you know, he submitted to God, she submitted to him, the kids are submitted to both of them. And also the Bible says they're submitted one to another. But that is a ministry. God is trying to use that. So when the enemy helps bring in offense and let it grow and start dividing and breaking up families, it causes destruction. And here's the crazy thing. We know alcoholism, obesity, even poverty often is translated generation to generation. And, you know, some of this genetically, some of this environmentally, and some of this spiritually. But here's the catch. You may have the best relationship right now with your children, but if you have unforgiveness and brokenness with your parents, even if they deserved it, understand that your relationship with your children is in danger, because you have shown your children that they can not only separate from their parents when they're out with each other, but that is okay. Let me tell you, just looking at Princess Harry's family, for those of you who are Anglophiles like me and love to read about the royal family, Queen Elizabeth was much beloved around the world, but her husband was really hard on King Charles, and King Charles had a very complicated relationship with his mother growing up, and they were not close, and sometimes they were out and out with each other, or he felt so suppressed by the burden of being the firstborn and to take the and to mostly and to be prepared to be the king of England, that he was actually often separated from his sisters and brother, and just a lot of things. So now that's passed on. His kids have seen how that relationship has been cold. And then Prince Harry now is growing a cold relationship with his father. Even if it's deserving, understand broken families and brokenness in families is genetic. It can pass down. And you marry a woman who has a broken fellowship with her own father, unless it's molestation. And even in those cases, I've seen some interesting peace. I won't say reconciliation. There's very few things that should have you be on the outs with your family. Okay. I mean, and even if you have been assaulted or hurt physically or sexually, I still think you can have peace with your family. Doesn't mean you have to be around them, but you should have peace, because I'm telling you, your kids are looking at you, and you may right now be enjoying a great relationship with your kids or your grandkids, but yet you cut off your mother or your father for whatever reason. Understand that your potential future with your children and grandchildren are at risk, because they see you model out that there is a possibility for you to divorce your own family. And let me tell you, as a kid, I had a situation where my mother was taking care of my mother's mother, my grandmother, and I won't say which sibling, a sibling of hers came in the house and ignored my grandmother, and my grandmother was in advanced stages of dementia. So in some ways, that person could get away with it, but they kept ignoring and just being so disrespectful that my mother kicked the person out the house. They were living with us. Told the person that get out of their life. They're dead to him. They're dead to her. And I just, as a kid, was sitting there going, I was so shocked because I didn't know you can divorce your sibling. And I remember looking at my brother and thinking, one day will I just tell him he's dead to me? And that scared the bejesus out of me. I didn't think about my parents getting a divorce, but I did think one day I'll walk away from my brother, potentially. I didn't know I could do that until I saw her pattern it. Thanks be to God that they have reconciled, and that has not lived, you know, in the family for eternity, but it stayed for a while. So brokenness in family, as quickly as you can. You guys get upset with each other. Maybe there was a fight during a verbal argument during Thanksgiving. Quickly apologize. Just get it right. I have to say, I'm embarrassed, but I have a family member who's always been dear to me. And we often have been compared to each other in ways that haven't been positive. And even as adults, we have had family gatherings where there's tension between us. And it's been like 4 years since I had spoken or seen this family member. And I remember selfishly saying, you know what? They're going to need me before I'm going to need them. So I ain't worried about it. And in the last couple of years, especially during COVID, I've reached out to that relative's parent to ask, can you give her my number, ask her to call me? And she would never give me the number to her daughter. I would never get a call. And I was just like, life is too short. I don't want to have anybody that I'm out of sorts with, especially not my relative. And so thanks be to God, in the last month we have reconnected. And when I say our reconnection has been such a blessing, I've just been like, oh my God, I didn't even know what I was missing. And she's flourishing, she's doing well, and I'm flourishing and doing well. And what I found out is that some of the angst about coming to family gatherings had nothing to do with me and other offenses. In fact, some things that really went down that was really violating for her, I had no idea had happened. And so I'm thinking, oh, she just don't want to be around me, but it was someone else she didn't want to be around. So here we have division for 4 years, and she actually got really sick of COVID. She's still dealing with long COVID. I forgot what they call long haul COVID symptoms. What if she would have died in those years that we hadn't talked? I would have been at the funeral crying, wanting reprieve, wanting another opportunity. And I'm just so glad that not only I'm glad that she's still here, but I'm glad that we're working on our relationship. There's very few things that are insurmountable. And even those things that seem insurmountable, you know that you just never know. You never know what could happen. You never know who can and who would be forever changed because you called them and you got something right. You called them and you made something right, and you said, you know you you said, hey, how are you doing? I hate that we haven't seen each other. Yeah, you understand. You never know. You never know. We never know. So why, during this upcoming Christmas season, do we ignore people, especially in our family? It could be your parent, it could be that cousin, it could be a nephew. Why would you just ignore them? And you know that if something happened to you tomorrow or something happened to them, y'all would be eating at each other's funeral saying, oh, I miss him. Let's not do that. So let's say no quickly. So, you made somebody mad during a spade game during Thanksgiving, and they're pissed off because you said something like you can't play anyway. Instead of letting them go home, be mad, grab them and hug them and say, you know what? I love you. I love you. Knock them, two men, fist pound or whatever, chest pound. Make sure that you say no, man. Like, don't let it have you. You control your life. You say no. And this last point, about not playing with personal baggage, let me tell you, I know it's impossible, especially a person of a certain age. And I'm 48. I'll be 49 on Valentine's Day. I'm calling it 45 on Valentine's Day. It's sort of hard to live to be almost a half a century and not have any baggage. And when I say baggage, most of you understand that anecdotally I'm saying things that you're carrying from other relationships, other situations, other events that probably cause you pain. You normally we don't call baggage the happy things, but it also could be just really relatively important duties. You know, some people, like if you have a child, that's baggage. That's not necessarily negative baggage, but it's a weight. I'm particularly talking about negative things, or it could be things that are weighty. And this recently, you guys, I hate that I can't share my screen right now, but when I went to Jamaica, I drove from Perry to Atlanta to catch the flight there because I was catching going a day early for my Jamaica trip. I was going to a conference. I was going a day early with one of my besties to spend the day right before the conference doing nothing. And so I thought, instead of flying out of Tallahassee, that we'll go to Atlanta anyway, let me just go to Atlanta. My plan had been to be there a day or two early to hang out with my godchildren and friends, but none of that happened. So literally, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, I am driving to Atlanta. I'm still packing clothes. So I literally have 6 bags in my car. 6 bags, y'all. Two um backpacks, one that could be like a carry-on, and then like 2 suitcases. Oh, was it 7 bags? It may have been 7 bags. I knew, I was like, I'm going to put in baggage claim 2, and then I'm gonna have a really big personal item bag, and then I'm gonna have like a bigger carry-on. So I knew I wasn't taking all 7 or 6 on the plane, but I was like, there's still little parts and pieces in other bags. I'm gonna have to post it just so you guys see how ridiculous it was. And so, listen, I had pretty much finished overpacking everything as much as I wanted to. I parked in a parking ride. I'm trying to get to the international terminal. I'm looking at the time. It's crazy. By the time I get there, it's like 30 minutes before the flight is to leave. And they're like, man, we can't. You're too late. You got to come back. And I was like, so I dragged. Now, with the bum knee that I have a stroller on or like a walker, I take and drag those bags back to my house, or not to my car. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Because there was no more flights that day I can get. I had to get it the next day. So I was so tired. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the closest airport hotel I can go to. I'm going to a Sheraton 4 Points. Really great. I took all 7 bags. Yes, yes, I know it's ridiculous. Wow. Yep, 7 bags. I took all 7 bags to my room and I began to repack. And so I had discernment, out of those 7 bags, I was going to take 2 check luggage and then 1 big carry-on and then 1 big purse, right? And by the time I finished repacking and just saying, okay, Hope, what's necessary? What's necessary? Some of y'all could have probably done it in 1 carry-on. I end up getting it into 2 bags. One of the bags could have been a carry-on, but I ended up checking that so I wouldn't have to deal with that, and my stroller or walker. And then I carried a backpack. So I had 2 check bags and a backpack that had a purse in it, that had my little laptop in it. And I was like, wow, I went from 7 bags to 4 heavily packed bags to 2 bags, one of which could have been a carry-on, and a backpack. And when I tell you, I was like so grateful. Now, I really, really, really would have been winning if I would have just gotten there 1 bag checked in a purse. But I'm coming. And so that's why I asked on my story, like, how many bags will you need for a 5-day beach vacation? Now, I mentioned all that to say, and I wish I had my pictures, but if you ever fly Spirit Airlines or some of these really discounted airlines, they make you pay for everything you bring with you except maybe 1 personal item the size of a purse. They make you pay for the carry-on. I saw anything listed from $55 to $100 if you don't get it ahead of time. So forget how much you're going to check, and they make you pay for everything. And you cannot get on this flight without either paying for it or leaving it behind. And I was thinking about the journey of life. This is where I should say extra baggage, not necessarily personal, but extra personal baggage, where you're trying to fit 7 bags of clothes in 4, and it's going to weigh you down, and you got to get through customs, and you got to get through the airport. The more bags you have, the less fluid you can meander through the airport to your journey. And many times your bag, that one bag you have, is too heavy. So you're going to have to pay extra. And sometimes they say you can't bring it aboard. And I just think about my life sometimes, things that I know that I'm called to do, things and places I'm supposed to be, but I'm loaded down with all this I'm trying to carry. I'm trying to carry with a bum knee, mind you, all these bags, and it's slowing me down. And it doesn't matter if I pre-check, TSA pre-check or not. It's like I still can miss the freaking plane. I was thinking about, I would not have missed the plane if I would have had less luggage, because I was still in the parking lot trying to throw things in the 4 bags I had chosen, when at the end of the day, I ended up taking 2, basically. And I'm like, you know what? That's life. How many opportunities have I missed because of the doggone bags that I was carrying? And let me tell you, the reason why I often carry a lot of luggage when I fly is that because I'm a woman of a particular age and a particular size. And if I go out of the country in particular, I can't just like run out of an outfit or something tears. I can just run down to the gift shop and buy something that's suitable to wear. Like, so in my mind, I'm like, I can't go to this conference about iconic women, or even if I was by myself, truthfully, and not have at least 3 options per event. And so I overpack because I'm afraid of not having enough. How many times in our journey in life we take too much stuff because we're afraid it won't be enough? What we've carried, what we've put in won't be enough. And we want to have options. But it takes away from our faith when you think about it. You know, what did Jesus tell the disciples to do in going out 2 by 2? You know, basically find houses of people of good will. You know, if they don't receive you, you know, shake them off. You know, but these people weren't being burned down with carrying like a bunch of stuff with them. They were going in the purpose of God, and they were trusting God. And if it wasn't received well, they'll shake it off. And I'm like, what would have happened? Now, granted, I did end up having like probably 1 outfit per event and then a few extras, but it was a lot less than I carried. And I'm like, I'm one of my cohort colleagues was like, I'm carrying 1 outfit per whatever event, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm just gonna wear it. And I actually stood or sat in awe of her, because the idea of me not being comfortable or feeling like an outfit I have on is not matching the particular theme, or it didn't come out the way I visualized, I would have been tripping. But there was a piece that this young lady had, that whatever I bring is enough. So sometimes we have all this personal baggage, not because we have to, but because we're afraid of not having enough. But when we have less baggage, think about the time you save, even in going international, in the time you save and going through customs. You know, say if I had for that 5-day beach, there's some of y'all who could probably only had a carry-on and a personal bag. You don't have to go to baggage claim to pick up anything. You just keep moving. And so when you travel light, you may not have the same options to use something that you brought with you, but you have the freedom of making decisions where you are. Hey, it won't kill you to rewear a pair of pants and another shirt, to switch it up. None of that would kill you. So one of my goals in saying nope to extra personal baggage is like, Whatever I feel is appropriate, I need to probably cut it down by 50%. Because I realize that what I think is appropriate baggage, what I think is normal, is probably a little bit more extra than I need. So I want to try. No, I'm not going to try. I do. I'm going to make a more concerted effort to plan ahead, but whatever I officially pull out, I need to say, okay, how much half of it, what half of this is going to stay? Because I don't need it. I'm not going to wear it. Or it's just extra. And I'm just going to believe God. And the worst is that I end up repeating an outfit. Oh, well. Oh, that caused me to itch, but I want to be able to just sail through in this journey of life. So that's a physical representation of a spiritual situation. How many times do I come to a situation and I feel like, you know what, this person needs prayer. So I need scriptures. I need the newest, of spiritual phrasing from my favorite, heroes of faith. I need anointing oil and I need 5 days of fasting. Sometimes you just go with what you have and the word you have in your heart, your own testimony of God's deliverance in your life, and faith. The faith. You don't have to have all this stuff. But sometimes this stuff makes us feel like we are arriving prepared, but sometimes we're just arriving heavy. We're just arriving full. And God's like, be light. So not only can you come on the journey as fast or as efficient as you can, but so that you in faith know that you are enough. And wherever you go, there will be provisions. And I tell you, I hear you, bro Davis. I hear you. Yes. I'm not mean to step on your toes, but let me just tell you, the first time I ever went to convocation was a couple of years ago. I'd never been to Mount Sinai Holy Church convocation. And I had come out of over 20 plus years in non-denominational church, and I grew up holiness. So I knew, or I thought I knew the expectation. And when I tell you, the only reason why I was trepidatious of going to this convocation is I felt like I did not have holiness Pentecostal clothes that were not, I wanted the big hats and the starch suits and the big bows and just the stuff that is fly, but it's sort of Pentecostal approved, where most of my clothes were easy, or even now, like right, one shoulder out, just totally not acceptable. And I literally had to look at myself and say, Hope, shut off that voice of criticism. Take the clothes that you have and go and get what you need. And if anyone has anything to say about it, you're going to just have to put it off. And I tell you, I'm so glad. I literally was trying to figure out ways to not go to convocation. If my mother and father didn't have some mobility issues, I wouldn't have gone. I knew that they needed me. And when I went, I felt so beautifully free. I felt so unjudged, even if people did. I felt like, why was I tripping? Okay, I don't wear big hats, but there was a lady there selling fascinators. I bought 3 fascinators and I wore the fascinators. I mean, I was like, this is doable. Okay, this is doable with what I have or what I can gain, and I can be myself. And sometimes carrying extra baggage is sort of like an armor that at both protects you, but also keeps you away from an authentic experience. And I was like, you know what? I'm not packing shorts and all of my makeup and big earrings. So I'm not trying to purposely go against the grain, but whatever I, have and feel comfortable that I am, showing respect, and Hope, that's enough. It's okay if it's not beaded to the heels and all that kind of stuff. That's not even you. Oh my gosh, brother, I should have you on as a co-host. Yes, put it off. That's the key, feeling free. Because I was like, I ain't going to get nothing out of this except walking back and forth from my hotel room to the conference center if all I'm worrying about is what I look like and who's judging me for it. When truthfully, the more I live, I realize, Ain't nobody particularly worried about you. We got everybody I know got their own stuff to handle, okay? We all are working out our salvation. So this, I hope this is hitting the people who are listening where they need. Like, let's say no to jealous friends and broken families and personal baggage. It's impossible to like avoid all things at all time, but even if someone comes to you and they're dealing with jealousy and they're sharing it with you, I'm not saying you shouldn't forgive them, but they need to come out of that, and you need to be cautious about the spaces you put them in until you feel comfortable and proven that they're really over that jealousy, or just decide that person is not a friend, they're an acquaintance. And it's okay to move people in and out of circles. And when it comes to broken families, there are sometimes situations that you just can't help. You just can't help. Your nephew, oh, I'm not going to speak it, but some family member may unalive another family member. I'm not saying that like you have to go in there and be broker peace, but what I'm saying is that you have peace with all men, and there's some hard areas in family that's hard to overcome. But this like jealousy or stupid offenses, or someone made a macaroni and cheese better than yours, or some family member never thought that, they're a part of the good family and you're the bad, all that stupid stuff, squash it. Because often, and I'm learning, especially now that I'm managing my parents' care, family and God are all you have from birth to death, typically. And of course, God we have for eternity. But don't overlook that cousin, that brother, that sister, that parent, that uncle or auntie that really you don't like, or they don't like you, even if they act funny. Doesn't mean you have to be around them or around them a lot, but you have peace with them and you show them joy, you show them love, and you give opportunity for reconciliation. And personal baggage, listen, let's just keep it to the purse, right? And if you're on an airline for free carry-on, do it in the carry-on. So you can roll up out of there and not have to go to baggage claim and wait for all that stuff. You can just go out to your Uber. Don't even get a rental car. Just be free. I just encourage people in their personal baggage and their spiritual baggage. When you feel like you're being overloaded, this is how I have to show up for work. This is how I have to show up for social events. This is how I have to show up for friends. This is how I have to show up for church. Think about whether you're carrying weights that you don't have to carry. Because some of the most powerful people are the people who just show up, and who and how they show up is almost always about what they are and not what they do and what they bring. When you can do that, that's some masterful stuff. That's some masterful stuff. Now that I've arrived, I'm trying to get there because it's easier said than done. That's why I still put on makeup and get a cute little weave going, because I'm still, not that I'm wearing too much personal baggage, but there's a certain thing I want to achieve. But when you can achieve or show up, regardless of how much makeup you have on, what you have, regardless of what people may think about you, regardless of how you even feel in that moment, but you just show up and you be your natural self, and people who get you, and people who don't, and not worry about it, that is a powerful place to be. So say no. Say no. Say no. I love you, Facebook family, YouTube family, my Hope More family. And on this last day of November, please close the door on jealous friends, broken families, and broken and personal baggage. Just shut the door and says, nope, that's not going to be me. Nope, that's not going to be my family. Nope, that's not going to be my friend circle. Nope, I'm not going to lug all of this baggage around. And until next time, happy December if you're watching this the day after, and happy end of the year. You better preach. You know what? Thank you, co-host Brother Davis. Close the door. Yes. God bless you, everybody. And I'll see you in December. Take care.